Another edition of the It Doesn't Matter podcast. Yes. We've got myself, John Strapfax. And we have
The Dominican Dream, baby. This is Papi Plátano.
there he is. And coming back to the show, we've got
Rose.
Oh.
There he is. And for the first time ever on the It Doesn't Matter podcast, a great old friend of mine, we have
Just Eric.
Just Eric. And we have the host of the show. We have
I am the notorious one. I am Dom. Boom.
That's right. We have a cavalcade of superstars here on the It Doesn't Matter podcast because we are talking about a very special man, a very special superstar, the World Wrestling Federation champion in 1996. We're talking about a birthday boy, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, because we are big fans of Shawn Michaels. So, Dom, what we got going on with the Heartbreak Kid?
Correction. I am a Bret Hart guy.
Boo.
Damn right.
Get that straight.
Get out of here.
I'm a Bret Hart guy.
Junk.
What's the eject button here?
Excuse me?
Kick him out.
Anyways, I respect greatness. I respect the man, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, the icon, the showstopper, Mr. Well, I don't think he's Mr. WrestleMania.
Mr. WrestleMania.
I still respect
Mr.
that
Main
guy.
Event.
Mr. Main Event to lose at main events.
Let's get right into it. We're gonna talk all things Shawn Michaels, and I just kicked it off by saying Mr. WrestleMania. Do you guys really consider him Mr. WrestleMania and being 6-12 at WrestleMania?
Yes.
We're gonna kick
He
it off
picks on
with
the best
that.
shows.
I mean,
Yeah,
wins
he
and
picks on the
losses don't
best
matter.
show, man. It don't matter.
Nah, it doesn't.
It don't matter.
It's the matches
Just
that
like
you
this
remember
podcast.
every single year.
True.
Wins and losses do matter. Because remember when the Patriots were undefeated and they lost in the Super Bowl?
It's a different sport.
Come on now.
Yeah, just like when the Falcons lost 28-3. Oh.
We lost
Oh.
some games that year, so it made no difference.
Shots being fired.
Damn right.
They make a
First
good
time
point.
ever.
Already.
It's professional wrestling, Dom. The results don't really matter. Or do they? Just like Eric said, it's all about the moments, the memories, the famous things, the memorable things, Dom. So get that out of your filthy mind.
All right, well, let's take it back then. So my first memory of Shawn Michaels, he was tag team. He was a partner with Marty Jannetty, the Rockers. Everybody was a Rocker fan. The Rockers were your 90s era of the Rock and Roll Express, basically.
Yeah.
They were cool, you know. The girls loved them. They had the long hair and the crescent
Tassels.
kicks.
Gotta have tassels.
The tassels. You got to have tassels back in the late 80s and early 90s, and they were your tag team specialists, as Gorilla Monsoon would say. What are your thoughts on the Rockers back in the day? Eric?
Well, my first impression of Shawn and Marty were how high flying they were, and you know, in a land of big boys who are doing rest holds, these guys were jumping off the top rope, hitting drop kicks, hip tossing all the way, and they actually had tag team moves. You know, I consider a tag team. You got to have the same music, got to have the same gear, and you got to have tag team moves. And they covered all three of them, and they were hot, man. They were going. I remember vividly Coliseum home video. Thank goodness for this one. Royal Rumble '91. They went against, which I hope this is PC, the Orient Express at the time. And I think it's one of the greatest pure tag team matches I've ever seen. Still to this day. Pure tag teams, I don't know, top 5 right now. So that was my first impression. They blew me away.
Top 5 tag team right now or all time?
Right now,
or?
as just a pure tag team match. I'm not talking TLC. I'm not talking ladder. I'm talking pure tag team contest. I still think it's a top 5 match. You watch that, how it's choreographed, how it goes. It's seamless. It's almost flawless.
Okay, I dig it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Rose? What about you? What was your thoughts on Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty as the Rockers?
I mean, I don't have much thought on it. We caught the tail end of it. We really didn't see it unless you really watched it back. You think about it. I'm saying they broke up, in 90 or early 90s, they broke up.
It was like, what, 93?
93, maybe 92.
Strap?
92, 93, yeah.
90, yeah, like 92, 91? Because Raw
I think so.
debuted in 93.
91, 92, I would say.
Yeah, because Raw debuted in 93 and he was by himself already.
I think it was Survivor Series 91 when he got hit by Jannetty by accident. I think that's what caused it. So
I think they started the feud. Well, it was recorded like on December, and then they did it on a January. I think it was like a tape Saturday, if I remember correctly. So you might have been right, Eric. It might have been 91 going into 92.
yeah.
Because when Raw debuted in 93, Shawn Michaels was a singles competitor.
Yeah,
So
so
what
that
happened?
timeline will fit.
So
And
what
also-
happened at that time? My bad. Go ahead, John.
Also at the Hoosier Dome, Shawn Michaels going one-on-one against, I believe, El Matador, right? Tito Santana. So he was
Correct.
starting a singles run there, 92.
Yep.
So somewhere between 91 and 92.
Another
All right.
racist
So what
freaking
happened at that
character.
time? Them guys broke up. He put his face inside the barbershop window.
Nah, Jannetty was a coward. He jumped out that
How come-
window.
How come that match didn't take place at WrestleMania? Like, did we wait till Raw when Jannetty came out through the crowd later on that
Well, I
random
think
Raw and he won the Intercontinental title from?
maybe they had that match at the Royal Rumble 1992. Shawn and Marty Jannetty. Perhaps I don't know, but they could have. But what led to their breakup? What leads to breakups of any tag teams in WWF? They start missing moves, start losing matches. They start blaming each other, and that's what the point of the barbershop was about, is to reconcile Shawn and Marty. And it looked like they did, but unfortunately, Marty Jannetty saw a shiny thing outside the window, jumped through it, and the rest is history, as you say. So and just like Rose was saying, you could be a fan of the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, but you don't necessarily have to be a fan of his earlier work. You don't have to be a fan of him as the Rockers or in the AWA or anything like that. You could just be a fan of him as being a tag team with Diesel, or being a WrestleMania 11 headliner, or his second half of his career. You can pick and choose whatever you want, but it doesn't always have to necessarily start at the beginning, which is always
We
a
just
good place to
didn't
start.
see much of it because of my age, really. I mean,
Yeah.
you think about it. When you 91, 4 years old, you didn't really see much of it too. You know what I'm saying?
So in
Me
that sense, Rose, what is your first? When did you first start liking Shawn Michaels?
Actually, it was that Raw in '93.
All right.
I think they should go back to that. By the way, that setup was dope. But that Raw in '93, when he's came out as something different, and everybody was the same kind of, for the most part. Only a few wrestlers was like a different character, or had like a different build up. Him, Taker, there wasn't too many of them that stood out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So.
What about you, John? You became a fan of wrestling in '95. So, what are your thoughts on Shawn Michaels at this time?
When Rose says that he doesn't remember earlier, it's like, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's wrestling or the entertainment industry, and even 20 years ago, someone coming up to me say, "You don't even remember cassettes." I'm like, "Of course I remember cassettes." It's like, and being a DJ, yeah, I know a lot of music. Don't know everything, guys, but I know a lot. And how can I'm 39 now, but I started DJing when I was, I don't know, 23 or something like that. And it's like, how do you only know 23 years worth of music? It's like, no, I know stuff from at least the 1950s to the modern day. And it's like, how do you know that? It's like, I don't know. I watch TV. I watch VH1 pop-up music video. I watch, when MTV did like all the history of MTV, going back to, 80, 81, 82, whatever it was. I'm not saying I'm a historian of things, but I do appreciate history of things. And, talking about when I got into wrestling in 1995, Shawn Michaels, they just did an injury angle with Shawn and Owen Hart. Owen Hart giving him that enziguri, shades of the beatdown from those cheerleaders in Syracuse, New York.
Hey, those are big Marines. Those are big Marines.
So
Yeah.
they started doing all those
Right,
videos, the "Tell Me a Lie," on the Shawn Michaels.
We can't help
And
you got
like-
beat up by a bunch of seamen.
Whoa.
next to the Cinnabon.
Whoa. Where's he going?
No, but as a kid, they would play the hype
Story of his
videos,
career.
and the hype videos would make you like a wrestler or make you not like a wrestler because you're very easily influenced as a younger person. And I was like, oh my god, I like Shawn Michaels, even though I never saw him wrestle. I never saw him, live on Raw. I saw him in promos and packages. And then when I first heard him talk, I was like, why the fuck is his voice so deep? Hey, I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, it's true. That the voice didn't match the body. Like,
Nah, threw me off for sure. Yep.
you expected, hey, leave him alone.
At least with Brian Pillman, you could chalk it up to a car accident, or surgeries. But I don't know. Shawn Michaels, he was still the number one push guy at the time, even though he wasn't the world champion yet. But he was going to be, and 1996 was going to be his year, and it was his year. It was a very big year, formative one for many people, including myself. And that's where we are today. That's Shawn Michaels' big year, 1996, and that was a big year for me as a fan. And I loved it. That was the prototype for me for what a WWF World Champion should be, and supposed to have been. A villain of the month challenger. He had Diesel, then he had the British Bulldog for 2 months, then he went on to Vader, Mankind, and then Sid. It was just a new number one contender every single month. So, in the more modern era, when you have, Roman Reigns defending against one guy every 6 months, or even before that, John Cena and Randy Orton just fighting each other 6 pay-per-views in a row.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was used to Shawn Michaels' Monster of the Month club. And that's what I liked. So very good champion.
I really
a great world
appreciate
champion.
how for Mania 12, they really gave him a story. They gave him the vignettes. They gave him Jose Lothario. They titled it The Boyhood Dream. You didn't really get that much expression, that much, involved in these matches up until that point. And it really, you had to choose a side. You were either going with Bret or you were going with Shawn. There's no in between.
why?
Dom picked the wrong side.
Yep.
Why did they make Bret look so weak in that damn training monologue?
He went a full hour.
He's in the dungeon and all that. He's struggling to do dips and all that. And I'm like
Stu Hart's weak. That's why.
Stu Hart
was weak. Didn't know how to train properly. He's too busy with his 20 other kids.
Sean's running up mountains like nothing and
It's because he wore pink tights.
doing backflips off the top rope like nothing.
Hey.
Oh my goodness.
Real men like pink.
That's a lie. Nah, but what I was trying to say was it wasn't that, like you were saying about the history and knowing stuff before you was born or be able to watch it. It wasn't that. It was just, of course, you go back and watch it, or when the network was available, you go back and watch that stuff. And of course, I've seen, plenty matches or watched those matches with him and Marty Jannetty. But for the fact of what I've known from it, from actually seeing it rather than going back and actually having to figure it out and go trying to figure out what these storylines was or who they was fighting. It was just, that's what I was trying to get at really was like, I seen them. I seen the history matches. I seen the matches where they won the title, even though they didn't win the title. They got robbed. But
Absolutely.
you go back and watch all that. But what I seen with my own eyes from growing up, I didn't really catch the Rockers era. I seen a little bit of it, but like I said, it was so young. It wasn't really the Shawn Michaels from '93. The live shows or the TV live shows going forward was what I really caught from there on out.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you go back and watch the Rockers, you would think that Jannetty would be the one that's going to pull out and be the bigger star because he was the one getting more of the shine. But
hey,
Estate quieto. Be careful. But yeah, Jannetty was the one being the guy that everyone was like, oh, that's going to be the star of those two. But HBK wasn't having it. He was going to be the guy regardless. It's hard to say because as a fan, I never was an HBK guy. Like I said, I'm a Bret Hart fan, and I can't stand him, especially with that cheating extra 5 minutes. That's bullshit.
Whoa.
He won the damn match.
Blame your general manager.
It's called overtime.
Sudden death, baby.
Bret Hart
Gotta have a winner.
Spit off his mouth. You ain't saying nothing about no 5 more minutes.
I know, damn it.
I won the match.
Just look at Bret Hart's face when the announcement was made. He looked as disappointed as if they just ran out of coffee. It's like,
where's my sugar? Damn it!
damn it, the Dunkin' on Coleman's way better.
Jeez.
All right. So you said that, your first impression was him becoming single and he was starting to become the Heartbreak Kid. Is that your favorite version of HBK?
Who?
Rose?
No.
Yeah, that's the best version of him.
Yeah. What about you, Eric?
I mean, we're talking my favorite version is probably 95 King of the Ring-ish era. Because you got that red and black tights going on. It's still HBK. He's progressing to what he could be, but he's not like at that top level yet. But he's starting to have that 5 o'clock shadow. He's starting to get cocky. He's starting to pull off. He knows what he's doing. That match with Kama at King of the Ring was probably match of the night by far. That went to a draw. He should have won King of the Ring, but whatever. I think that was the era that I feel that he knew he was going to be the guy. So that was probably my favorite time for him. That's when I really grew up and I started really liking him. Was that era? Yeah. Two Dudes with Attitudes was like the top for me.
Yeah, that 95 era was something real because you don't have your big muscular guys like Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior anymore. You have guys like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. You have natural big guys like Sid and Kevin Nash.
And we're running on the end of that like occupation gimmick era. So where these guys are actually, Razor and Shawn and Bret finally actually working matches. So as much as I love Duke the Dumpster Drosy, I was getting a little sick and tired of that stuff.
He wasn't the master and the roller.
It was all good. I love that.
People gotta relax.
96, that time of wrestling.
People gotta relax.
Boy, you haven't been watching the pod, man.
That microphone was not on, by the way. I don't know what to tell you about that. That shit ain't on, pal.
No,
nothing.
I pulled a Jake the Snake. That's
yes, there's no change. Your voice has not changed. You sound the same. My God. So many great technical moments here on the It Doesn't Matter podcast.
Yes.
Fun for all our audio listeners and on YouTube as well. Thanks for watching. But Dom, let me ask myself the question you're already asking the other guys. My favorite Shawn Michaels, easy answer. When he was the world heavyweight champion, 1996. The whole year. Well, most of the year, anyway.
Okay. Hey, nothing wrong with that. This dude had a lengthy career. It was pretty good. And like all his stuff was pretty good. But me personally, I think his second half after he came back from retirement was his best work. Like,
I agree.
He was so humble and he was putting on amazing matches with John Cena, Triple H, Benoit, you name it. He was doing the damn thing. It was good. Like every single match he had was a classic. That's my opinion. I think that him being saved and whatnot, that was his best run.
And I really question whether he'd have that type of run if he just kept going throughout. Yeah.
What's up?
I said I question whether he'd actually have that second run if he didn't get the back injury and didn't get time off to actually come back and be who he was. He needed that time away.
Remember,
yeah,
he missed a lot during that Attitude Era. Like he literally missed like a whole 4 or 5 years from like 98 to about 2002.
You can't really say he was in the Attitude Era because he was in it was starting to heat up a little bit, but he missed that whole time frame. Yeah, he sparked it a little bit.
Sparked it.
But yeah.
But he missed a lot of shit.
I feel like if he goes through that time frame of him being out, he's like LeBron, and that longevity is going to put him over the top a little bit. That's just my opinion, though. I don't think he misses a beat. But I feel like his second half WWE was more at its peak. Like, the competition was way better than what it was in his first half.
I feel like he was like his second half was just like Jordan's second title run. It's just like no one was going to touch him.
I hope you mean with the Bulls.
No, not with the damn Wizards.
The Wizards?
That's the third one. That's the third run. I'm talking about his second run when he went.
I like that reference. I like that reference.
Because when he came back, they was like, "Oh fuck, we're not winning anything no more. This guy's the man." And I hate to say it, no matter who was in there, I know Cena was running the show, Triple H, and all that. When it came down to it, you put one guy in the main event, and it's sad to say, and I'm a Bret Hart fan to the day I die. HBK always showed out.
And he was so humble that he didn't even want to win the title on his way back, or his second time around. They gave him the title in the Elimination Chamber, but after
he didn't want it, though.
He didn't have it after that. Like, I wanted him to beat Cena for the title at one point.
I believe the story was that, like, he didn't want to do the house show circuit because it interfered with his church going. So he didn't want to have that title. And, if that didn't happen, he clearly would have been a multi-time champ, especially on SmackDown. I mean, that belt was wide open for a lot. But he never wanted to go on SmackDown, so.
He could have worked Tuesdays.
He refused. He should have.
Some people like Tuesdays off.
He was off on Tuesdays.
That opens up another question. So if, say, he takes those title runs, where's John Cena at right now? Does he have those runs where we actually remember him the way he is now? Because you got to remember, Shawn was there till about 2010. 10. Cena was running roughshod around 2005, 6. That's when his run really started to heat up. That could have derailed a whole couple. That's like 5 years right there. He could have took away from Cena.
All right, so if you said
it probably would have given Cena more title shots and more title opportunities.
Yeah, that's what I was about to
go.
More
reigns,
You think so?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you have Shawn as your champ, as your babyface, Cena could have been that, that word life thugonomics. John Cena and
Cena could have been a heel, huh?
Cena could have been a heel.
Cena was already a heel when he started. It's just he was so over with the fans. It was just basically like how The Rock was when he was starting to get loved from Die Rocky Die to yes, Rock. We know you. We suck. We love you for that, though. It's like what? Don't tell me that. That's literally what happened.
Cena would have definitely chased Shawn Michaels. They could have had like a year-long feud if they really wanted to, and Cena would have overcame that.
That might have been in the cards for 2 years in a row because both times it happened when he wrestled Triple H at WrestleMania and then Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. They're supposed to have longer programs, but both original members of DX got injured. And so they weren't able to finish their programs probably the way they wanted to. So injuries definitely had to take a play into these lack of championship victories for Shawn Michaels and Triple H as well. But one thing I'm thinking about, a lot of people refer to Shawn Michaels as a great influence on their careers. You can think of everybody, Jericho, Edge, Dolph Ziggler. A lot of people pointing out to Shawn Michaels as a huge influence on their careers. And that's obvious. You just pick you can't pick a very spectacular wrestler, even when he was a tag team with the Rockers. But another thing that he has inspired all the wrestlers over the years, whether you realize it or not, is the fact that he missed 1998 to 2002, that he missed a long period of time due to a back injury that they thought was career ending. Now, how many people have come back from career-threatening injuries? At first it was just, okay, Triple H after he blew his quad, or Kurt Angle after he broke his neck and had minor surgery, and Stone Cold having a year off. But it's gone all the way up the chain to now, to Daniel Bryan coming back after 3 years, to Edge coming back after 9 years. Sheamus had spinal stenosis as well, and he took some time off. He still takes time off, but he's back, and he was at a hard chopping match with Bronson Reed on Raw recently. And he's not the only one. A lot of people, Christian, for example, these guys, they have to retire because at a certain point they're so beat up, they're forced to retire. And just like Shawn Michaels, and you can argue that everyone I mentioned has admired Shawn Michaels in some manner. That's just another one of the influences that the topic of the day, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, has given to the world of professional wrestling. Yeah.
Spot on. Spot on.
What up, Heartbreak?
All right, so let's talk about his rivalries. Eric, who's your favorite rivalry that Shawn had?
You know, I say that like I had a best Shawn is 95, 96 for me. However, his best rivalry is coming back in 02. Triple H and Shawn, the chemistry was just off the charts. The storyline was probably one of the best storylines WWE's ever run. And the matches were always top notch. That's the yin to his yang right there. That's his counterpart. That's his foil. They work well together. They protect each other. They felt safe in the ring with each other. And every single match they seem to have steals the show. And, with Shawn, you expect that. But with Trips, he knows he's got to step his game up for Shawn. And he did it every time. So I feel like you can't have Shawn without Trips there throughout the whole career.
Damn right. We just reviewed that show on Wrestling That Made Us with my boy Paul. Check that out on YouTube, Spotify,
it's a
all
good
the
episode.
good stuff.
Good episode.
Yes.
That was a good episode.
Real good. And I remember watching that live, and oh man, it was cool to see Shawn, coming back ready for a fight. He had the tank top on and the jeans on and the cowboy boots, and it was good. It was a good ass match. And I still say SummerSlam 2002 is still one of the greatest SummerSlams of all time. I say it every single time.
I agree. I think that's up there with a lot of Manias.
Yeah.
The way that card stacks up.
Yes.
I mean, top to bottom, that's just the talent is ridiculous on that card.
Hall of Fame worthy class right there. Or show right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about you, Platinum? What about you? Your favorite rivalry of Shawn Michaels?
It's difficult for me just because I wasn't a fan of his, and it's just I don't know. When I think about rivalry, it's like for me because of how great of a legend he was. Who did he make? Who did he elevate even more? And I'm gonna go with Chris Jericho. That year-long rivalry that probably never even should have went that long. And honestly, the whole finding out that he punched his Shawn's wife by accident, and then that was his actual natural reaction, just gives more to the rivalry. And for her to just continue to sell at that too, just like go with it. She knows they weren't supposed to do that, but just feed into it. And it went for about 9 months before they culminated in WrestleMania. Even still, after the fact, he gave him the old thank you, and then kicking the ding ding.
Was that a WrestleMania?
Mania.
That was 19. Yeah.
19, baby.
Oh, you talking about the original John? I'm thinking about when he punched his wife in the face.
That was before Mania, actually.
Yeah, years ago.
Yep.
Because they brought it back. WrestleMania 19, and I think it was 2009 this took place? 2008, 2009?
Yeah, when you had the Dutch boy haircut.
Yeah, that's when Jericho started wearing the suits and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good
Jared
time.
Trot 5,000. Getting Shawn thrown right in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that ladder match they had, I think it was on Raw, where they both fell, and then Jericho came up with the belt anyway after the fact. I was like, I didn't know what to think. I was like, did we just have a double champion? And then Jericho just like yanks it off. I was like, okay, that makes perfect sense. You're the champion. He's tired. You just had half an hour to 45, whatever it was on Raw. It was a hell of a match. Something you don't see too often anywhere. I don't care what program you're on. It just kept going. It's just very rare to see guys make other guys or that selfless. It's always about me, but in this industry, like you hear from other wrestlers, you're only as good as your partner. And Jericho and HBK, they know what they were doing.
I agree. And you said you weren't a big fan of Shawn Michaels, but you were definitely invested in the story right there. It's all about the storytelling.
Yes.
Just like how Eric said that the whole storyline with Triple H and himself, it was good. You gotta have a great dance partner to make it happen. What about you, Rose? Who you got? What's your favorite rivalry?
I'm gonna stretch it out and say Taker. It wasn't a short rivalry. It wasn't. I mean, they stretched it out throughout the history of their careers, of matching each other's energy to Taker never beating Shawn. I feel like that was the ultimate, get back. Like you never beat me, so now it's your chance.
You never.
And I can see. Well, until Mania, yeah.
Oh wow.
But I could say that you could argue that his overall best matches was against Taker.
Hold on.
Of course, the two Manias.
Wait, so that casket match when he got injured, Taker lost that match too?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember that.
Oh, wow.
Hell in a Cell,
Hell
casket
in a Cell, he
match.
lost. Casket
Hell in a
match.
Cell, yes. Me and Roger, we talked about that in upcoming Wrestling That Made Us.
Yes,
the Hell
tune
in a Cell
in.
match between
Tune
Shawn
in.
Michaels and The Undertaker. So, yes, definitely tune in. That's a good one. But I didn't remember. What was that? Royal Rumble, right? When Michaels got hurt?
Yeah.
Royal Rumble 98. All right, I got to go back because I don't remember that Royal Rumble. I know Austin won that joint, right? That was,
Yes.
That was like his first one that he won.
yeah.
Or his second one he won, right?
Second one.
That was the second one.
Second one. Yeah.
That was back to back, I believe.
Ooh, I don't remember. John, strap fact moment. What's on that card right there for Royal Rumble 98?
Royal Rumble. those are the only two things you want to remember. Shawn Michaels defending the world title against The Undertaker in that vicious casket match. And I'm trying to think back as well. You know, The Undertaker, the storyline was The Undertaker never beat Shawn Michaels. And yeah, I guess so. I guess he didn't do it.
And Mania, that was the storyline.
All I remember is during the Royal Rumble match, a lot of Los Boricuas coming out, much to the disappointment of me as a fan. Oh, you ain't gonna win. Fuck this guy. Jesus Castillo, get out of here.
Oh.
You ain't gonna win. You might win another freshly laundered A shirt. But that's all you're gonna win, pal.
Wow, I got to tune in. I got to look that up.
Wow, you don't believe me?
No,
I'm a Shawn Michaels fan.
No, because I really don't remember the Royal Rumble 98. That just a blur to me for some reason.
That was a blur for me too.
Sure, I don't think it was that good, to be honest.
Shawn was hurt.
What?
Oh, it was hurt.
Sounds like a true Bret Hart fan.
Yeah,
No.
right? Like,
Sounds like.
we saw the back hit the casket. We know.
Yeah.
They slowed it down, slow mo.
No.
You know how many times you've seen Goldberg kick Bret Hart in the head?
Yes.
You know
Gives
how
me
many times you
nightmares.
see Shawn Michaels hit the back of that casket?
He should have worn
I'm just-
another plate on his head. He should have worn it. He had the plate in the wrong spot.
I was just
after
like
Goldberg
freaking
kicked
Sid.
Bret in the head, he still fought Terry Funk in a hardcore match like 2 weeks
Sure
after.
That's
For a
true.
guy that
did.
said his career
That's
was
true.
over.
Yeah,
You
that's
know, come
crazy.
on now.
Bill Goldberg. Oh, Lord. All right, Strat, what about you? What's your favorite rivalry of Shawn Michaels?
Now I'm gonna go with this right here, especially considering this action figure I got in the back here, brother.
is
Jack's
that?
Pacific Slammers, if you will. And man, I remember doing a storyline with these three certain wrestlers, and I had to tell myself, as the booker, man, stop booking these guys against each other. Diesel, Bret Hart, and Psycho Sid are tired of facing each other. They gotta knock it off. Get along, you guys. But if I had to pick a favorite feud, you know, it don't get no better than Shawn Michaels and that big dummy Psycho Sid Vicious back in Survivor Series to the Royal Rumble 1997. You know, they were intertwined for a couple years there. You know, as Sid as his second bodyguard. But there's something about that dynamic, you know, like we do love Sid Vicious on the It Doesn't Matter podcast. He has his moments, all of them great, by the way. But he does. There's a reason guys like Kevin Nash and Scott Hall like working with him. They thought he was a great big man and he could draw money. And he worked well with guys like Shawn Michaels, the smaller guy like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. And I don't know. When I think back to like rewatch a pair of matches, like I think thinking of Shawn Michaels and Psycho Sid, both of those times at the Royal Rumble and the Survivor Series 96 were just fun matches. And it was just a nice, great chemistry between the two. So, and speaking of action figures, yeah, they also sized up pretty well. Shawn Michaels always super kicking the hell out of that big dummy Sid. Sometimes knocking his head off so bad, I'd have to super glue it twice.
What is going on?
HBK!
All right. Well, for me, I love him and Bret. That rivalry, it was just an amazing rivalry, and it was.
I loved it
heated,
too because
was
Bret never
real.
won. It's great.
Well, if you want to go back to that ladder match, Bret won.
Yeah,
that
let's not talk about that.
It wasn't a rivalry yet.
Previous to those 2 screw jobs.
Them 2 guys, they were neck and neck the whole time in their career, and one guy can never excel to the next level with that guy being right there on their tail.
Yeah.
And look, I just loved how they was in the United States, and they're all for Shawn Michaels, and next week they're in Canada, and they booing the shit out of Shawn Michaels. It was a great time to be a fan in 1997.
It's crazy thinking about
probably
that
the best time of wrestling for everybody on the table right there.
It's true.
Not just them 2, but them guys right there. They put it on the map right there.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, how'd you feel about the handshake and hug when they came together on Raw? Did your heart break a little bit?
Back in 2010?
Cheap.
2010.
January 4th, I think.
I remember that.
2010.
I remember that because I think TNA had their first live show or something like that.
That's right.
I remember
Jeff
that.
Harvey.
I was flipping back and forth, but it was cool. It was cool seeing reconcile.
I mean, just you put yourself back in those shoes. You didn't know what was going to happen. You kind of had an idea. Like, come on, these guys are professional. It's been over, such a long time. What could possibly happen? And Bret Hart's already out there. Shawn Michaels comes out there in his fucking DX wardrobe, and he's looking all stern and stiff. And man, he just goes up and just hugs him, taps him on the back for a long time, shakes his hand for a long time.
I've been waiting a long time to say this to you. I'm sorry. Like, what?
Honestly, Bret, I don't remember anything, okay? Long career.
It was cheesy.
I didn't do nothing. I swear, I didn't do nothing.
And when
They
you
made me
see one
do
of
it.
those network specials where they have like a sit down with Bret and Shawn and somebody, and just like that, Shawn's like, got no memory. Whatever you say, Bret, you got a great memory. You got a great book. Yep, that's probably what happened.
Damn.
That's probably what happened.
Eric, you're absolutely right. This dude really never beat Shawn Michaels because I remember I bought that DVD with them 2 sitting right there. I forgot who's it with, JR or
The
Michael
DVD,
Cole?
JR does.
Yeah, and they talking about the rivalry, and then I'm like, damn, Bret, you lost every single damn match when it really mattered. Like,
When it mattered.
oh
Sure
Lord, what was it, Confidential or something like that? I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, it was just
Oh,
called
they had
Greatest
a whole
Rivalries.
DVD. It was a rivalries, Bret and Shawn.
Yeah,
Sat down there.
Sold like shit. They never did another one.
Yeah, don't do
That's
that.
when I learned when Shawn's eye got wonky because he had a match with Kane and Kane slammed on, and that's when he said, "Oh, my eye just started twitching and it just never came back to normal." He's like, "Oh, all right."
Ouch.
No
Gave him
clue.
the libertarian left.
That
Yep.
sounds crazy.
I thought it was from the glasses that he wore back in the day.
Yeah.
I went lazy.
Last
Them
episode.
glasses was fire, by the way.
Oh man.
Let's put that out there.
nice.
Dope.
No.
Velveteen Dreams.
The Hart glasses was fire.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, Shawn, he was definitely something else. But what about NXT Shawn? He's running the game now. He's a legend. Everybody knows he's a legend, and he's putting on for NXT. John's not a big fan of NXT, but he's
Still
cooking.
a game changer to this
Chef
day.
HBK is cooking right now.
Yeah.
He's still leaving the impact right now. Oh, hold on. Pause NXT right quick. I want everybody's thoughts on Crown Jewel when he made his return. Him and Triple H, DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. Shawn got the
I don't
bag.
recall.
Of money.
I don't recall. Don't know what you're talking about.
As bad as you think that match was, Shawn made that bearable. Absolutely
He
made
did.
that bearable.
He's the only one that didn't fuck up.
He's the only one that wasn't injured or didn't fuck up. So I give him all the credit in the world. Bald-headed Shawn could do it all.
Every possible thing that you think that couldn't happen in the match happened. Like
Yeah.
That was the
Kane's
Wizard's
mask
Jordan
came
right
off
there.
Out of nowhere. Triple H tore his pec.
That was the third time. He was like, nah.
That was the
my
Wizard's
check.
Jordan right there. Came back and
I would,
wasn't the same, but
I
still
wouldn't
able
even
to
say
perform.
that.
That's it.
Oh,
Hey, Jordan
God.
Jordan still averaged 20 a game as a
that's
Wizard.
crazy. That's crazy.
And Shawn came back. What was it? 2018.
I
18,
think
19,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
18, 19, 8 years later or so, and Shawn came back, and he looked good. He put on the match. He looked real good.
He had no choice.
I mean,
yeah, besides him being bald, but
he had that agreement with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mick Foley, that's Stone Cold reneged on, to show up in not just making an appearance at WrestleMania 32, but making an appearance in their in-ring attire. Stone Cold decided not to do that, but Shawn Michaels was there in his chaps, and Mick Foley was there in what he always wears. And but Stone Cold came out in his regular T-shirt and jeans, but Shawn Michaels was ready. He was
I was
ready.
wondering about that. I'm like, all right, Foley just came out as normal. Shawn ready for a fight.
Sean could have had a 20-minute match right there, and it would have stole the show.
Yeah,
He was looking that good.
He could have pulled a freaking a steamboat on us. Like,
Yep,
oh shit,
100%.
let this old man go. Could have, but sometimes you gotta just let the young guys do their thing, man. Stop being selfish.
Yep. All right, so back to NXT. You said about the young guys now. So Shawn is definitely cooking in NXT. He's doing a damn thing.
Facts.
Okay.
And his mindset, Triple H's mindset for this business. They respect the business. They acknowledge the past, and some of the stuff from the past is working in today's storyline, and it has everybody intrigued. Like, what do you guys think about Shawn being the guy in NXT right now? Eric?
I like how Shawn brings back the greatest hits. We just watched the Ethan Page Fatal 4-Way match. Eerily reminiscent of that Fatal 4-Way match with Edge, Cena, and Michaels. The falling back, shoulders down, not down finish. His mindset's on wrestling. He uses the best abilities that these guys have because they're green. The talent's there, but he's got to unlock it. And I think he sees the best in each one of these guys, and he utilizes it well. I don't watch a lot of NXT, but from what I see in the clips, it seems like the Carmelo Hayeses, the Trick Williams, they're all astonished by watching Michaels, in his matches, and they respect him, listen to him, look up to him, and I think it shows in the product. So, I think he's the best man for the job, and he's doing a fantastic job.
Wrestling's at an all-time high right now. Like The Rock said months ago, wrestling is cool again. Like, you hear everybody talking about it. Like, me and Roger, we talk about it damn near every day, especially like NXT.
Facts.
Like I watched NXT Heat Wave the other day, and that finish with Ethan Page, that shit pissed me off. Like, wait, really? Like that's how he won the title? And he was so surprised. Like, it's good. It just keeps people intrigued, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. Strap, I know you're not an NXT guy, but what are your thoughts about the product, man?
I had a thought and I just freaking lost it. That's okay.
That's
There's
what he
plenty
thinks
more
of
where
it.
that came from. Now I remember what it was. But I did not watch NXT for the longest time, but I knew because I listen and I read that there's this guy named Carmelo Hayes, and like I said, I knew nothing about him. Like, I didn't know his moves, barely knew what he looked like, but all I knew was that he is Shawn Michaels' favorite guy in NXT at that time or whatever it was, and I was like, okay, and he made his debut on the main roster this year, and he was the number 1 draft pick, wasn't he, on SmackDown? Hasn't exactly been lighting it up lately, but I give a lot of I will pay attention when he's on screen, based purely on the fact that he is one of Shawn Michaels' favorite wrestlers. And as a matter of fact, as the premier general manager in WWE 2K23, the one I own, I love it when Carmelo Hayes comes out. He's one of my top superstars and a hell of a competitor and a jam up guy. But that's the kind of influence Shawn Michaels can have on his old fan here, this guy right here, saying, if I give a thumbs up for a guy, you should check him out. Then I did. And Carmelo Hayes is pretty cool with me now.
Mello is money.
Yeah.
What about you, Platinum? What are you thinking?
I don't know. I'm kind of like John. I haven't been watching NXT like that. More of an AEW guy. It's more my style, but not hating on it either. I don't know. Is there gonna be that class that's gonna take over and push over the new roster, well the old roster and take over like Bronson. Was it Bronson Braun Breaker? He's the guy that I see that's just so vicious. He is gonna make the biggest impact coming from NXT coming up to the main roster. And is Carmelo and Trick gonna be doing the same thing? No, their characters are completely different. They probably have a different build than he is, especially him being like a second gen. Maybe they'll feed into it. Maybe they don't even need to do that. But I don't know. It's just I see it all the time. These guys get hyped up in NXT. They go to the main roster. They'll get like 6 months, maybe to about a year, and then they just disappear into the ether. It's like, okay, you hyped this guy up. He was your champion, and he's gone. I don't know. I trust the system, but I don't at the same time. I know, granted, the old man's not there, but like they say, show me the money. Until I see Carmelo's really doing that thing where he's just taking over SmackDown, I just don't trust anything yet.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the rosters are just so stacked on both brands right now. You call up and you're fifth or sixth in line.
Yep.
It's hard to make a place for yourself. So you see Carmelo, he started out losing match after match after match. You got to settle in. You got to get yourself a feud. Get it right, and then you build back up. That's how you do it. But the top of the roster is just so stacked with talent. It's hard to push through, especially now.
Especially now with SmackDown too. Now that they got Cody and they got the whole Bloodline feud going on, that's going to take up so much of your time right there. Especially SmackDown only being 2 hours at this moment.
Yeah.
It's very hard as a young wrestler seeing that, and you're like, damn, if I get just 2 minutes, is that going to be enough? It's not. I'm sorry to say it. Certain fans, they need that instant gratification, and 2 minutes is still not enough for them. They want to have 5 to 10 minutes, and you can't give that to everybody. But with time, we'll see what happens. Maybe some of the old guard will fucking move over, and then the new guys will come in and take over. But you better have storylines to go with it, because you can't just keep throwing these new guys in and nothing being done. And I know Don's probably thinking, oh, what about AEW? AEW is a completely different roster. It's a completely different company, and you're thinking about a company that's been going on for 50-plus years, so a baby company who's still growing in its own right. I just never compare them. They're two completely different entities, and I get tired of the whole, oh, you need to like this and not watch that. I watch everything. I just don't have time at times, too. I don't.
You a damn lie. You don't watch everything. First and foremost.
I watch enough.
You ain't got the lie.
Let me break it down to you right quick.
Carmelo Hayes, he is gonna be the future. Yes, SmackDown is hot right now. It's all about the bloodlines, all about Cody Rhodes. But don't forget, Carmelo Hayes' first match on SmackDown, he went against the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Cody Rhodes. Almost injured Cody Rhodes.
You don't do that.
That's their first impression. Oh, okay, you're about to mess up the big money right here. So you got to work your way back up. And like you said, the old man, he's gone now, so it's a whole different system. So the way they're building Braun Breaker right now is a slow build. He didn't win that title against Sami Zayn because Sami beat you with the haluva kick, and that could knock you out real quick. And Braun is still on the warpath. He's hot right now. Ilya Dragunov. He's killing it. Gunther, he's going to be your next world champion. Everybody knows that.
Gunther's been killing it for
these
years.
NXT guys are cooking right now. And you said you got to trust the system. Yes, I am trusting the system. I'm trusting the system and TNA right now because Shawn and TNA, they are both cooking right now. So we getting that merger right now. So everybody is talking. And, yeah, TNA's hot. NXT's hot. AEW's still hot as well.
I think it's kind of unfair, though, to like, Carmelo Hayes is coming up, or some of these wrestlers that came up from NXT beforehand and didn't really pan out, or didn't, whatever the case, got buried. Because at the end of the day, it's still, the writers and management. It's not really always the wrestler's fault that they get buried. So it's kind of unfair to be like, some of these guys come up and then they don't really show up after being, the top dog or having the most hype in NXT, because you kind of don't have control over it. Yes, you need to go out there and put on the best that you can do and show that you are, as good as you was in NXT. But at the end of the day, if there's like Eric said, there's the talent's just so strong right now. It's you're really fighting for a spot.
You can only have one champion. That's it. You know, storyline regardless. You can only have one guy at the top, and there's a lot of mouths to feed on that show, especially with 2 hours. And a lot of the time gets put into that Cody, Randy bloodline right now, you know? So it's tough to claw and fight your way up there. But Hayes is getting TV time. He's doing well on his promos. You know, he's getting a legitimate feud now. So I think sky's the limit for him too. But, you know, it's going to be a slow burn. And if the fans can wait for that's going to be the thing. Maybe he wins the speed title. Who knows?
Oh, Lord.
I don't really watch TNA, but has there been a WWE wrestler go to TNA yet?
Yeah, we had Charlie Dempsey, William Regal's son. He showed up.
Okay.
You had Izzy Dame. She was over there. You had what's the other chick? She won against Jordan Grace for the title at the last pay-per-view against all odds. I want to say.
Roxy.
Can't think of her name. No, this chick from NXT. Tatum Paxley, I want to say.
Yeah.
Oh, she went over though to NXT though, right?
To TNA.
But didn't she come from TNA? Am I wrong?
Nah, she's in NXT.
Okay.
Yeah, so they
and let's not forget Ash by Elegance.
Yeah, she came back.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Hi, Dana. Oh,
Yeah.
Ash.
So they still need that big name. They need that big name to make that surprise.
Dana Brooke.
They need that big name to make that surprise.
DANA.
So I tell you what. So by the time this episode airs right here, Slammiversary is going to take place. So I'm assuming somebody from NXT or maybe the main roster is going to show up in Quebec.
What's Cedric Alexander doing in the Impact Zone? Again. We need, Eric and I are part of the original team Wrestlemania here. And, we have a couple of NXT teamers, and they would know all the things about NXT that we have no idea who any of them are. Isn't that right, Eric?
Oh, yeah. And they're not biased in the slightest.
Not biased at all. Eric and I were part of Team ROH for many a time, going to the City Field in Brooklyn, going to meet the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura, and going to see Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega down in Florida.
We're day zero. Day zero Cody guys.
New Orleans.
Day zero Cody guys. In the worst seats I have ever sat in any arena in the world. I think that was in New Orleans. Yeah?
John could not want to get out of that stadium fast enough. Speed walking the whole way. Oh my God.
What was it, like Lakefront UFOs arena or something like that?
The UFO Fieldhouse. Ooh. Yeah.
Oh boy.
And of course it was raining cats and dogs at the end of the show. No one could get an Uber. Missed the midnight crab boil. Good God.
It always goes back to that.
That's
he's going back to
thing.
I was there. We was all there.
That's right.
Cool Ray was there. Cool Ray went to NXT. The ladder match with Velveteen and Adam Cole and all that. Ronda Rousey in the crowd.
We got a non-finish. I don't even remember Super Card of Honor at all. I just remember it was super long Card of Honor.
Would not end.
My God.
I literally just went to that show just for that match. Cody and Kenny.
Man.
Yeah.
What a storyline that was. Hey-o. But it feels like we've gone off the rails. Let's get back on the rails with this random Shawn Michaels memory. And so Shawn Michaels was injured after WrestleMania 23. So he came back. He was coming back to face Randy Orton, the then current WWE champion at the Survivor Series, I believe. And I believe the super kick, Sweet Chin Music, was banned. And during that match, it was a standard match. It was a good match, of course, between two guys the caliber of Randy Orton and Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels going for that super kick, realizes that he can't do it, otherwise he'll get disqualified. Randy Orton whips out that RKO out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. Man, Shawn Michaels lost that match, but man, what a memorable performance by Shawn Michaels right there. That was the later half of Heartbreak's career. There. So check that out if you want to a random Shawn Michaels match to check out. Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, Survivor Series 2007.
All right. Final topic. Dream match. Who would you like to see Shawn, if you have it, or you definitely have it in 2K? Who would you like to see him, have a match with? I'll kick it off. I would love to see, I think everybody would love to see him and the phenomenal AJ Styles. Them two Styles clash, no pun intended. That'd be a banger. That could be your WrestleMania main event anytime, any place.
I believe AJ Styles is on table for 3 with, I think it was Nash and it was HBK, and begged HBK for one more match. Begged him. And HBK just politely, passive-aggressively, nah, I'm not feeling it. I'm not going to do it. Sorry. But AJ's been begging for that match for a long time.
You got to call him out.
Yep.
Don't you love that 6 degrees of separation game? How do you connect AJ Styles to Kevin Nash?
Oh, right there.
I would have lost.
Goodness.
I lost that game.
All right, Rose, what about you? What's your dream match for Shawn Michaels?
Dang, I don't even know. There's so many. Off the top of my head, I would say Seth Rollins. Just off the top of my head, without really diving into it or really thinking about who he didn't wrestle. I'm gonna say Seth, man. I feel like that would have been a up tempo, could have been technical, it could have put on any type of match you wanted to be.
Definitely would have been a good one. Eric, what about you?
So, I mean, AJ Styles would have been my current answer, but I always felt like 92, 93, there was a chance, I believe Macho Man, Randy Savage, put it out to Vince that he wanted to have a program with Michaels one-on-one while he was getting the Intercontinental Championship. And Vince shot him down because he wanted him to be an announcer instead. And I think that match could have been epic. And I think it could have been a legendary feud that they could have had. But that's something that I would always want to see. I know they had a tag match, I believe, where it might have been Ric Flair and Michaels against Savage and somebody else, maybe Perfect. But they never got that one-on-one match to, just go all out. And I would have loved to see that. So that would have been my number one.
Why was his trunk so high in 93?
That's a great question. That is a great question. Didn't want to get that junk falling out, so he's smart.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible.
What did I start?
All right, Platinum, what about you?
Save me for last, because I got a feeling John might have the same idea.
You don't want to beat him to it?
Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding.
No. I'm gonna save it.
There's a Poppy Platinum right there. I broke it out for him. He didn't do it this episode. I did. Poppy Platinum and I have share many of the same opinions at times, which is wonderful and also terrible at the same time. And I almost don't want to give this answer, but as I'm thinking it over in my head, I just can't really come up with something I like better. Honestly, better, that is. And that's Shawn Michaels versus Latino Heat, Eddie Guerrero. Yes. Shawn Michaels, from Texas to Tex-Mex, and with the Jose Lothario as his trainer, big Mexican influence, of course. And you can't think of a top Mexican star bigger, badder, and better than Eddie Guerrero. You can try, and Lord has WWE, AEW, and TNA have tried, but it doesn't get any better than Latino Heat.
That definitely would have been a good one right there.
Yeah.
Another WrestleMania-worthy match right there.
Yes.
I think it was slated to happen the year he went against Kurt, or the year after he went against Kurt. It was supposed to happen, and then unfortunately Eddie had that heart attack, and we didn't have the HBK versus Eddie match that we probably could have got at Mania. That would have been ridiculously epic. But
what about you? Is that your thoughts? You think Eddie Guerrero should have been the dream match?
I was thinking that, but the match that we never got to see just because of their backstage crap, whatever went on, HBK versus The Rock. I know the two different styles just don't seem to match, but you gotta remember Rock was coming into his own and he was killing it. like I said, from 98 to 2000, this is the perfect time where The Rock was just on top. And you got a heel HBK on his game, knowing what he's got to do, not having to work so hard, just use his character. He would have pushed The Rock to the moon even more so than where he's going. So the whole topic of this show, well, the whole name of this show is It Doesn't Matter. And the number one guy, it doesn't matter who it was, he was going to be over. The Rock versus HBK would have probably been the greatest dream match if you've ever seen.
I love that. You're absolutely right. Can you imagine that? Prime time. Not Elix Skipper. No, not that Jay Brown. Prime time Shawn Michaels, leader of the original D-Generation X, against second in command, Rocky Maivia, still under Farouk. But you know who the real leader of the Nation of Domination was. Versus, so that's Shawn Michaels versus that Rocky Maivia. Good Lord, man. That's the match that should have happened in 1998. Even though Shawn Michaels even though Triple H and The Rock had banger after banger in 1998, Shawn Michaels, DX Shawn Michaels, and heel Young Rock would have had an amazing feud.
Yes.
So, I agree. Imagine the promos they would have had. Rock at that time talking to third person and Shawn being drunk. You never know how that could have turned out.
To be fair, they were running those promos while Shawn was commissioner and The Rock was leading the fucking corporation. So,
yeah.
If you say that you can't make magic out of something, out of bullcrap, all you gotta do is point to the magic of Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan SummerSlam 2005.
Masterpiece.
Master class. You want to be a professional? You want to show how to be a professional and get the job done while still getting your shit in? Shawn Michaels, SummerSlam 2005, Hulk Hogan. My God, that was some real heat right there, brother.
You want to see some overselling? Watch that match right there.
Oh, I tell you, brother, when he hit me, I couldn't handle it. Oh, all the power of the Hulksters. What? I tell you, brother. Oh, brother.
Never seen a big boot like that in my life.
Still has one of the best vignettes promos from the Larry King dress up ever. Oh my God, that was amazing.
That was hilarious.
That was classic HBK. Man. You got Generation 1 HBK on that one.
Yeah.
I really wish
angry
that
HBK.
I really wish Hogan fed into it. I know he was butthurt about it because he wasn't known. But, come on, dude. Let's make money off of it. Fuck it. Oh, man.
And then, Shawn Michaels chalking it up as to, I just had to know. Then Chris Masters out of nowhere with the Master Lock.
Anyway. Hey, you look a little thin now.
Shawn Michaels.
Hey, Shawn Michaels also had one of the best talk show sets by far.
Heartbreak Hotel.
By far.
With the bed, the heart bed.
The heart bed is classic.
That was dope.
I guess.
Shawn was an innovator. He was the first one with a bodyguard. 2 big bodyguards. Had his his talk show, even though everybody else had a talk show, but his was real cool at the time.
His stood out.
Yeah, his stood out more.
More so than the Piper's Pit?
Yes.
Nobody care about that.
Exactly.
Don't.
That made Ava want to wear a skirt.
Don't be mad.
It's a kilt.
It's a kilt.
No, but Ava wanted to wear a skirt.
You're just jealous.
But yeah, innovative matches. Shawn was just good overall. He is one of the GOATs, I have to say. And that's me being a Bret Hart fan saying that.
Oof, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt bad.
I respect it, Don. I
hate to say it, though, too.
I
as a
respect,
Bret fan.
And don't be afraid to say it louder into the microphone, Don.
I respect greatness.
HBK was
one
the
of
GOAT.
the GOATs.
Yeah, I'm glad we had this episode because, personally speaking, just Shawn Michaels' legacy for myself is just seems a little lost and muddy at times, but going over his career and his history and his influence, and it's kind of like, oh, goddamn, pal, he's had a great influence. Shawn Michaels is freaking awesome. You know, so it was good. Sometimes you just need that. You just need, I mean, not for us. Who are we? We're just podcast folk. But yeah, Shawn Michaels has a great legacy in professional wrestling, and very glad we had an opportunity to revisit highlights of his career on today's episode.
Yes. So I know after I get off here, I'm going to check out Royal Rumble 1998. That's what I'm going to see. I just want to see the undercard.
Why, Dom? Why?
Why you want to torture yourself?
I got nothing else to do.
The horror.
Jesus.
Best of Shawn Michaels. There you go.
Hey, you want to watch that? No, fuck
Eric.
that.
The best to ever do it.
By far. By far.
It's a pleasure to have you all on the show.
That's why he's Mr. WrestleMania. Not because of the wins and losses. It's because he always put on the best show.
He was the best loser.
Right.
Yes, he was.
What?
Just like Jeff Hardy.
Just Hardy. Yes.
What is going on?
Be a best closer, Abel.
Ain't nobody better than Mariano Rivera.
John didn't know that reference.
Clueless.
I picked it up.
I know.
It was a terrible reference.
Terrible.
I didn't get it either. What?
Before Abel closes out, Eric, Rose, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Anytime.
Pleasure to be here. Talk
Eric,
about
who else do you like besides Shawn Michaels?
Whew, man, let me tell you that.
Back in the day, were you a Hogan guy?
No, God, no, absolutely not.
No one in NXT currently.
I'm no. Well, actually, Joe Hendry. I'm okay with him. The theme music. Woo, you got me.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
I was gonna say something earlier when I think Roger said it like back in '93 when like you see this guy and you had a deep voice and you didn't know nothing about him. There you go, that's Joe Hendry right there.
Yeah.
He's popping up out of nowhere. Everybody knows him.
You gotta
you
call
see
his
face,
name.
You know who he is.
I can't believe TNA is dropping the ball on this guy. Why does it take NXT for Joe Hendry to start popping up? He should have been champion for a year already right now. I don't get it.
That's that Shawn influence.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's that Shawn
That's the
influence.
HBK influence. We're going to segue right around here. Yeah, that's it.
Seriously. Oh, Lord. So, yeah. So, were you a Hogan guy? Warrior?
No, Hogan, no. Warrior, no. I was Michaels, I was Razor, and I was Ahmed Johnson. Because that man wore thigh pads on his knees. That's insane.
Former guest on the show, Ahmed Johnson.
Love that guy.
Boy, do we have an episode for you.
No, I listened. I still couldn't understand a word he said, and I loved him. It doesn't matter. Best promos of the Attitude Era, where Ahmed Johnson just spitting in the mic, not knowing what you're talking about. But you know what? He got through. I was legitimately intimidated.
Yeah, he was a badass. You can't front. He was a badass.
No, he was.
Everybody
Absolutely.
enjoyed Ahmed Johnson. Had a lot of haters on our episode about Ahmed Johnson, but come on now. You wouldn't hate on Ahmed Johnson back in the day if you did not know what happened with all these dirt sheets in the podcast and whatnot.
Nope.
That's the problem.
And he was incredibly over. Incredibly over with the fans.
Hell yeah, he was over.
You don't give the IC title to anybody in the mid-90s. Nope. Except Marty Jannetty. You get him. That's it.
Well, gotta give him one run.
Give him a little tryout. I always ask John, and he never answers. I want to know, John, who's on your Rushmore? Give me your Rushmore, because you like so many wrestlers, because you have so many shirts.
Johnson.
Is it Ahmed Johnson? Is he tier 1?
For African Americans, yes. Ahmed
For black
Johnson's
wrestlers, yeah, Ahmed Johnson's on the Mount Rushmore.
All right.
And at commenter dummy ass 101, yes, he is on my Mount Rushmore. So screw you.
Is Michaels on your Rushmore?
It could be.
What does that mean?
No, I mean the four would be just probably Stone Cold, The Rock, Hogan, and probably Flair.
Okay.
So
Can't argue with any of those.
No.
What about you,
Eric?
The Flair, Michaels, Austin, and honestly, I'd probably go Cena. I'd throw Cena on there. I think he's deservedly
Hey,
so.
nothing wrong with that.
Nobody's carried a company like Cena's carried a company.
It's true.
You want variety. You don't want the same guy. Like if you pick Stone Cold, you have an argument why it's Stone Cold or The Rock. You can't choose both. It's Shawn or Bret.
Right.
It's Hogan or Flair.
Exactly.
You know,
Yep.
Wait,
they're different. They're the same era.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. I try and go era to era here.
You choose both?
No, that's what I mean. I mean, like it's unfair for me to choose Stone Cold, The Rock, Hogan, and Flair. Two of them are the same era.
Yeah, you did it. So that's.
I mean, you know, but I did it. Yeah, because it's mine, Mount Rushmore. So shut up. If you want a real good one, you'd probably want it to be different eras. So,
what about you, Rose? I'm
gonna go Shawn, Flair, Hogan, and Taker.
You can't go wrong with any of these Mount Rushmores right here.
Taker's just as valid. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
Seriously. Platinum.
It's always changing, man. Always changing that third one or the fourth. So yeah, Hogan, Flair. I put Austin in there, but I don't, just because he wasn't there long enough, and neither was Rock. So I take him off. So Cena's in there, and I might go with Orton.
Yeah. Didn't expect that one.
That's a left field one. I'll tell you that right now. But
yeah.
Orton is one of those guys that we did not appreciate until he's gone. And when he was gone for that long, we were like, oh, this dude's back? Okay, shit's about to change.
You got two guys from that OVW class on your Rushmore. That's crazy. Like how jacked that OVW class was, eh?
I'll switch Randy for Brock Lesnar because he can go.
That's why I kind of leaned into that.
You keep saying Brock.
Yeah,
let's think about
that. I'll trade Randy for Brock because that's my dude, man. That guy, just put his name out, he's gonna sell out any stadium. Don't care what company you work for, that dude sells.
I was waiting for Bret Hart's name to come out your mouth. I was about to leave this chat room.
Oh, Bret's a better wrestler.
Leave this chat room.
Better technical wrestler.
I don't have him on my Mount Rushmore either, so
no.
I have Shawn over Bret on my Mount Rushmore.
You're a smart man.
Top 10. They're both top 10.
I'm looking at overall picture, you know, as a entertainer, wrestler, and whatnot. You know, he had it all.
Yeah.
Billy Gunn.
Wait, go ahead and announce yours, Don.
Hogan, Austin, HBK, and I'm about to say The Rock. All game changers of the business.
Okay.
I'm about to say Roger Love.
He's like Austin and The Rock. He's like Austin and The Rock now.
My life is completed. I heard what I need to hear.
Nah, my headphone died. Did you cut me out?
Oh boy.
He didn't like my list.
Now it sounds weird. So.
My headphones died. It cut me out. It kicked me off for a second. So I wasn't worthy.
Oh boy. I guess that's the cue right here.
Yes, well, before Platino closed out the show, Roger, Eric, thank you for being on the show. Next week, we're taking it back to 2000. John's pick, Fully Loaded 2000. John, why'd you choose Fully Loaded 2000?
I don't remember.
All right. Well, we figured that out next week when we tune in. Platino, close us out.
Well, we got that cue, guys. Just like this freaking crew, it is fully loaded. We are going back in time to 2000. Fully loaded. Let's see what we got for the main event. I don't know. Dom, give us the rundown. Oh, we gotta go. There's an echo. We gotta run up. Let's go. I'm Papi Platino. This is Notorious One Dom. We got Just Eric for his first time in here. Strapfax John. And the Master. And the ruler of the world. Rose. Oh.
Yeah, there.
We'll see you guys next week.
Boo.
Did he appear? All right, we gotta go.